Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be focusing on Egypt's economic and exports performance during the year 2021. Egypt has exceeded $31 billion in exports last year. We're going to be focusing on this file tonight. But before we start doing that, let's check out some of the stories making the news today. And we'll start off with President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, who presided over a meeting with the Economic Ministerial Group with the attendance of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and Governor of the Central Bank, Tariq Amir. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassam Radi said the meeting reviewed the main economic indicators during 2021, the situation of the trade balance and exports and imports volumes, as well as developmental cooperation with international partners. Radi added that the head of state was briefed on the sectors which increase its exports, namely chemical products, building materials, food industries, electronics, agricultural crops, and ready-made garments, as well as reasonable distribution on Egyptian imports targeted to instill its local industry. The president also discussed the National Pioneers initiatives, which aim at boosting local production and attract more direct foreign investment under the patronage of the Central Bank in coordination with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. President el-Sisi, meanwhile, gave his instructions to follow up the pace of work in developmental projects and to eliminate any obstacles on the way to achieve the goals of sustainable development. The meeting also tackled the state's vision to enhance the private sector's role as partner in realizing development and reviewed the most imminent economic indicators concerning the public and private sector's activities and their share in the gross domestic product. Also, the World Youth Forum spokesperson Sara Badr said South Sinai Resort of Sharm el-Sheikh has almost completed the preparations for the 4th edition of the World Youth Forum, which kicks off next week under the patronage of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The spokeswoman added that holding the forum despite the COVID-19 crisis underscores the youth's ability to organize the global gathering that advocates dialogue among youths. More than 500,000 youths from 196 countries have registered for the January 10th to the 13th event at its official website. Badr said the main theme of the 2022 edition of the World Youth Forum will be post-pandemic recovery as well as energy. These were a couple of the stories making the news today, but now focusing our attention on tonight's topic, looking at Egypt's exports activity for 2021. Now, Egypt is close to achieving its highest export activities in its history. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back. Egypt's exports exceeded $31 billion during 2021 after recording $29.087 billion during the first 11 months of the year, with an annual increase of 27% or $6.2 billion. By recording 31 billion commodity exports during 2021, this will mark the highest value ever in the history of Egyptian merchandise exports, exceeding the highest number achieved in 2019, which amounted to $25.6 billion in 2019. Minister of Trade and Industry Naveen Girma said that this increase in the export deal with the global crisis imposed by the outbreak of the new coronavirus since the beginning of last year, despite the challenges witnessed by the global economy. She added that the growth in the volume of Egyptian commodity exports during 2021 is a result of the dependence of a large number of markets on Egyptian products to replace the countries that stopped their factories as a result of the emerging coronavirus pandemic, including factories in China and a number of European countries that stopped during the pandemic. This gave the Egyptian factories the opportunity to replace them, especially in nearby markets. Also, the growth rate of exports is due to benefiting from the free trade agreements signed between Egypt with the African countries, which achieved high growth rates in importing Egyptian products, or the Mercosur countries and Egypt exported to the latter huge quantities of fertilizers. According to official data, the total export support dispersed during 2021 amounted to about 6.9 billion Egyptian pounds, from which 1,355 companies benefited, while the total return of the delayed export burdens with the Export Development Fund, which disbursed about £30 billion for more than 2,500 companies. As for the most important importing markets for Egyptian products, the countries of Southern Europe, North Africa and the Gulf are the most in demand for Egyptian products, in light of the proximity of the distance and the presence of direct shipping lines with them, expecting the continued growth of Egyptian exports at the same rates provided that China does not reduce the prices of its products and the continuation of government support for export.